Hello. Before we dive into part 2 of this episode, I gotta ask, did you catch part 1? If not, hit pause real quick. You'll want to start from the beginning to get the full effect. The link to part 1 is right down in the description below. Go ahead, catch up, and we'll be right here waiting for you, ready to dive into part 2 when you're all set. It's worth it, I promise.
This season's all about confidence, right? So as a business owner, you have to have confidence and courage and be visible and all the things. What do you think that confidence looks like for a business owner? And can you share a moment when you realized you were truly showing up with it?
Confidence is a funny thing. It's a good thing to not have complete confidence because then you're challenged and you have excitement and enthusiasm about it. Too much confidence can be boring. Every time I do something new, my confidence is always going to be low. But then the more I do it, the more I fail, the more I problem solve, the better I'm going to get at it and the more confident I'm going to feel when I end up facing that challenge again. But I'm not sure a lack of confidence is always a horrible thing. I think it can just mean you're showing up to a challenge and it makes you be creative and problem solve and challenge yourself to still be able to stand tall and look like you're confident, even if you're really not. I think confidence comes with practice and with repetition, and it's a good thing.
Yeah, I say confidence is built. It's not something you just have. You have to do it over and over again. Step out of your zone of comfort, try things, fail, make mistakes, learn. If that's the one thing I teach my son, he's 10, is just keep making mistakes because that's what's going to help you feel confident in your intuition again. Like going back to that intuition, you'll just know because you trust yourself to make those kinds of decisions and leaps. Is such an interesting thing. I talk about unicorn-like confidence because my whole brand is pink and purple and blue. And you can't see this, but behind me, I have a fluorescent light that says Wickedly Branded with shining pink and purple behind me. And we talk about unicorn-like confidence because unicorns, they don't brag or have ego. They just know how special they are and they shine in their specialness. They glow in that specialness. And I think just being you, that's what makes you special, and glowing and being visible in that is where confidence can really flourish. So I know that you're passionate about podcasts and video snippets as a marketing strategy. So what has been the most effective social media or marketing thing that's worked for you in the Blind Kitchen?
Boy, that has just been such a learning experience because we started out with these long video tutorials, which are necessary for the tools. If you're thinking about buying a tool, you want to know what the tool is, why it's blind friendly, and how to use and care for it. And that can be long and repetitive. I had no idea what I was getting into. But what we have found is that people have short attention spans. If I'm just trying to get people's information in general, they're going to whip by the videos. That short, interesting blurbs are part of it. And I love, like you love your unicorn and sparkles and the colors of your brand, I love our cupcakes that jump in and out of the Braille cells and form the Braille letters TBK. But that gets old for people after a while. So what we found is that when this video gets published, and that we'll play your introduction, and then we'll pull out just a snippet of something that we thought was interesting and unique to my and your conversation. Because I often answer a lot of the same questions, but there's always something new in any podcast that you do. And so then we'll just play like 30 seconds of that, and then close with your closing. And people really respond to that because it's new content, it's new information. It means they're not going to see the same old thing over again. So that's something that we've learned on the way.
Yeah. You got to try it, test it. You got to see what works, what doesn't work. And I think when you're trying to build authority or just knowledge in general about what you do, having the podcast snippets are so incredibly powerful. That's how you talk to a real person. That's not something forced and faked and like some polished speech. You talk at people. This is a real genuine conversation with genuine people having a genuine connection. So that seems so much more authentic to me. And I love that. That's like my favorite thing for sure.
And people respond to it.
Yeah.
Respond to it. Yeah.
What do you think is the hardest part about marketing?
So with the Blind Kitchen, I've got a niche business. It's people with vision loss, and there's a finite number, and I've done pretty darn good, I think, my team at getting known in that population. But there's a lot of people out there that don't identify as blind or visually impaired. And that might be somebody like your grandpa, or grandma can't see as well. She used to do what nobody would dare call her visually impaired or blind. She wears glasses and stuff like that. But they are people that could benefit from what the Blind Kitchen has to offer just to make their lives easier. So that has been challenging to reach those people that I truly know could benefit from the tools. And it's not just the tools, it's the strategies in the Blind Kitchen. There's a lot of things that can make your life easier than it's just knowledge. And that's available on the website in the Blind Kitchen library. So that's been part of the reason that I'm so appreciative that you invited me onto your podcast, because most of your audience, I'm guessing, does not identify as blind or visually impaired. Perhaps some do. You have women entrepreneurs. That is your main focus. But almost everybody knows somebody who might be struggling a little bit with trying to see in the kitchen. And that has been a big challenge, is how to reach that other group that don't have the label that make it easy to tag and identify.
It's interesting because my mom just turned 72. She'll be 73 this November. And I saw that she was struggling opening cans, and she loves to cook. That's where I got my love of cooking, is from her. And I saw her kind of struggling opening cans and some other things. So I gave her like a whole cooking kit for like accessibility, a can opener that's automatic and some other things. And then she looked at me because, "What are you trying to say, I'm old?" "No, Mom, I'm really trying to help you. Like, I just want it to be easier for you." But she like got offended, actually. I was like, "I know your independence is so important, but if there's things that make it easier, why would you not use it something that makes it easier for you? I don't understand."
You hit the nail on the head. People don't want to be identified as getting older.
Yeah.
And vision loss can be part of getting older.
And then my father-in-law has some diabetes and some retina issues as well, some bleeding on the eyes and things like that. And he used to be the primary cook for the family of 7 kids. So he was always feeding everybody. And I know he struggled a little bit, but his vision's a little bit better now. But yeah, we all know somebody who's struggling just a little bit. But you want the gift to be taken not as an insult in some way, shape, or form. Not with, "Kate, you're old." That was not my intention. "Mom, I just know you love to cook. And if it makes it easier for you, please use these tools."
Right.
But I think as we get a little bit older, we want our independence and don't want anyone to tell us that we're old. She just had hip surgery too. And she was a bit of a hippie. She was born in 1952. So when she became of age at 18, she was like the hippie age. So I gave her like a whole hippie kit where I had like a boho bag that was like from the 70s. And I put like a device to help her get out of her car and a thing to help her put her socks on. And she's like, "You and these old people gifts." And I was like, I had hip surgery a while ago too. You're going to need these things. And I was 40 when I had hip surgery. So don't tell me that was from you being old. But you're like, okay, I know how hard it is. For those of you that are listening that have some limited impairment of some sort, whether it's arthritis or vision or hearing, my husband could use a hearing aid.
I heard that.
Yeah, he's been in the military, so he's been around a lot of explosive devices and loud sounds and the gun range, things like that. He's 51, but I still think he needs help a little bit with that. So I feel like that is a very hard thing. And I think as a person who is aging, like I am in that process too, I hope I'm a little bit more graceful about that, and I will accept the tools and the accessibility. I will take it. I'll take it. Before we go any further, if you've been enjoying this conversation with Debra, if this conversation has inspired you in some way, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button, the follow button, leave us a review. Let us know exactly what you're loving about it and what is helping you maybe see differently, no pun intended, in your work and in your business. So I do have a magic hat, and it is purple, and it is sequiny, and it has lots of questions, Debra. I have heart-shaped, star-shaped. They're all laminated, and I have probably 30 questions. Do you remember Michael Jackson's hat? That he
I
had
do.
before? Okay, but it's purple and has sequins on it. So that's where the questions are. So I'm going to pick 3 or 4 questions out of it, and they're more rapid-fire questions and a little bit more fun, okay?
Okay.
Ooh, this is such a good one for you. I'm so excited. What are the 3 most important ingredients for your recipe for success?
Butter. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh, yeah. Girl, butter all day long.
I would say creativity, tenacity, and a belief in yourself.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the hardest no you've ever had to say in business, and why?
I had a woman that was marketing for me, and we were just going in circles. We just never came out with a product. It was just a conversation. And I had to let her go. And she was tearful. And I believe in your mission. I wanted to help the business, but it was very difficult for me. But I wasn't getting anything for my money at all, except her enthusiasm and her admiration for the mission. But it was very hard to let someone go. But I didn't need a fan club. I needed somebody to market my business.
Yeah, like it's so great that you blame me, but I need you actually to other people to love my business too.
That was not easy.
Yeah, because it's human.
Exactly.
What fear have you had to overcome to grow your business?
My videographer says I hate social media, and it's not true. I don't hate social media, but when I was of a certain age, when I was raised, you never bragged about yourself. You didn't tell people what you were doing. You didn't say, I got an A on this report card, or I'm having this for dinner. So for me to put myself out there as though anybody really cares what I'm doing, he says people do care. But that's been really hard for me to break through that paradigm that I've had to evolve to become more like the millennials.
I'm of the same philosophy that the work should speak for itself. You shouldn't have to go and talk about it. And I would say 99.9% of my clients feel the exact same way. I don't want to step in front of the camera. I don't want to have to talk about what I do. I don't want to do all this stuff. And I will tell you this, super vulnerable, real moment. I didn't want to do it either. And I remember talking to my assistant. She's amazing, Michelle. She does all of our marketing for Wickedly Branded. And she was like, can you do this video? And I was like, Michelle, I cannot do that video. That is not me. I'm sorry. And every time I do a video, I was like, here's a video. Like I begrudgingly gave her the video. And that was probably like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And now she's like, look at you, you're like a video rock star. And I was like, yeah, I guess practice does help a little bit. You get over it. And then you realize that people do find it beneficial. And I just keep a serving heart in my perspective every time I share. So that's where I try to come from, is a serving place as opposed to selling, or how do I help people? And that I think has changed my perspective on it. But yeah, I'm the same way. Like I just want my work to speak for itself and I have to do all the other stuff. I totally agree with you. What's been your biggest aha moment as an entrepreneur?
I went into a conversation of people with vision loss who like to cook. And I was in the room just as Debra. I didn't identify myself as anything else. And someone said, are you Debra Erickson of the Blind Kitchen? And it was like, wow, I've made it. People now are associating the brand with a name. And that was really something for me. I did not expect to be recognized. I didn't say Debra Erickson. I identified as Debra. And it was like, wow, the name's getting out there. And that felt really like my marketing was working. I was reaching the people I wanted to reach, people that like to cook, that had vision loss. It makes you want to keep going. I'll tell you, It makes you want to keep going.
I say this on the podcast often to my listeners. If there's somebody who's inspired you or somebody who you really respect or admire, tell them, because they may be needing a little bit of affirmation. They may be about to give up. They may be not knowing that anything's working. And so many of the people who follow us are lurkers, right? They just watch your content, never engage, never ask questions, never anything. But is it really helping you? And if it is, please let them know. That's such a gift that you're giving them, including for the podcast, including for the work we do at Wickedly Branded. If we're actually helping you, gosh, let us know, because then we know the work that we're doing matters. So if you could do one thing today, go tell somebody that has inspired you or given you that piece of information that has helped you, go tell them. Because that may be exactly what they need to continue their work or to improve or whatever that looks like for them. So important. I had a situation very similar recently where I was on another podcast, and somebody added me on LinkedIn and said, hey, the brilliant Beverly Cornell helped me with my confidence. And I did this thing and I showed up and I almost got tears in my eyes, because it's like somebody did the thing I asked them to do. It made a difference. Somebody pushed themselves outside their comfort zone and they got results. And that's what it's all about right there. That matters. That really matters. What's something in your business that brings you pure joy?
Oh, it's the emails I get where people say, I cooked this meal for this special person and they loved it and it made me feel so good. Those emails where I know that the work I've done has touched their lives enough that they can touch someone else's life, and it brings them such joy. That's by far just such a wonderful email or conversation to have.
Agreed. Okay, so you survived the magic hat round. I have a magic wand. It is like a light purple. It looks like a snowflake on top. It's very reminiscent of the Let It Go Frozen wand, like from the movie Frozen. But it's purple. It has sparkles and glitter on it. And if you push it, it does make noise, but it lasts a very long time. So we don't want that. But the magic wand helps us move forward and backward in time. So I'm going to wave the wand and we're going to go backwards to a very young, maybe high school graduate, Debra. And I would love for you to give her a piece of advice that you wish you had before that would have served you better in your life if you'd known it or followed it.
Yeah, I would advise her to believe in herself more. She definitely felt like she didn't have much power in the world and was definitely at the whim of the winds. But looking back, she was actually very strong and could have changed the world at that point in time. But as women, as humans, it takes us a while to figure that out. And that's what I would open her eyes to her own power a lot earlier.
The irony of opening her eyes to her own power is interesting too. So what would she say about you if she's looking ahead and sees herself, the 18-year-old now? What do you think she would say to you?
I think she'd say, good job. I'm proud of you. You're making a difference in the world. I think that's what she would say.
That's beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to wave the wand again, and we're going to go forward in time, many decades to the end of your life. And I want you to think about the person who's giving your eulogy and think about what do you think that they would say would be your most significant legacy or impact on the world?
I'm here as an entrepreneur, but I would hope it would be she was a good wife and a good mother. Those two roles are very important to me. And it only took me 2 marriages to get to the wife part. But yeah, that she was a good wife and mother and sister. But I think as an entrepreneur, the legacy would be that if it is 20 years later or 40 years or whatever, that the tools and information were so basic, they stood the test of time. I'm not selling technology because that's going to change tomorrow and the next day and the next day. But things like long wooden spoons, things like cut gloves that you can put on your hand holding the food and you're not going to cut your skin. Those things are not high tech, but they are things that people will always need as long as they have skin that can be burned or cut. About 90% of my tools allow people with vision loss to be able to use them, and they're not going to be modified over time. They're perfect the way they are.
Yeah, so good. Okay, so I'm going to wave my wand and we're going to come back to the present day. Thank you for time traveling with me. So for our listeners, those small business owners, those women who, even those aspiring entrepreneurs, what is one tip you would give to them that they could try today or this week that would help them maybe build more confidence in how they show up and run their business?
I think one of the biggest things that happened for me to enable me to get this business going is I took a business from the Small Business Development Center that the Small Business Administration gave classes. And then I was surrounded by people. Of course, this was during COVID, but I was surrounded by people of similar interests with similar challenges. And we worked as a support group for each other to help each other build their businesses. So surround yourself with people who are supportive of what you're doing, who are interested in what you're doing, and even better, that they're trying to do it themselves. And that will be a constant fuel source for you to keep you going forward when things do get rough, because they will get rough. None of us get out of here without scars. It's just the way, whether we're entrepreneurs, whether we're mothers, we're wives, whatever, there are going to be issues. And this is one of the things your podcast serves. When I listen to you, I listen to other female entrepreneurs who have had similar challenges and successes. And that makes me, as a woman entrepreneur, that I too can have similar successes. And maybe that'll give me an idea. Well, maybe I can tweak this strategy. I wasn't doing exactly right. Maybe if I try it this way. And I think that's constant fuel for the soul, and it keeps you moving forward. And I think I was very wise when you said you're just not hearing any feedback on what you're doing. You're making this video. You're doing this podcast. Nobody comments on it. Nobody verbalizes to you. If you're surrounding yourself with humans and not necessarily the video, that feedback is very helpful to keep you moving forward.
And I do think like everyone that I talk to, everyone that I work with are really purpose-driven, heart-centered people. And they want to make an impact in the world. They're making impacts in the world like you are with the Blind Kitchen, with helping empower people. And when you so badly want to help the world and no one's engaging, it's like, what is the deal? Obviously, purchasing your items is amazing. We want that too. But throw us a bone. Let us know. We're helping you out. That is just, I think, a kindness that we could do more of in the world as people consume content. Just letting content creators know that their stuff matters. There's some really big content creators that have millions of followers that I still send them a note saying, hey, I just want you to know I really enjoy your content. I look forward to seeing it in my feed. Just a genuine appreciation for them showing up every day. And they probably don't even need it, Debra, because they have millions of followers. But I feel like if I find value, that I need to let them know, hey, this is great. I really appreciate it.
I agree. I agree.
So to wrap up here, I want to ask you, share with the listeners where they can learn more about you, more about the Blind Kitchen, what you're up to, where they can buy something. Maybe they want those really fancy gloves.
Sure. The website, we're a web-based business, and it's theblindkitchen.com. I also do public speaking and workshops upon request. I can tailor a curriculum to your agency or organization or your needs. We're also on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and I'm missing one. YouTube. Hello. Yeah. And you can write to me at info@theblindkitchen.com. I monitor that mailbox and answer all of those emails there. So please do feel free to reach out. And as Beverly said, please do tell me what's working for you. Tell me what's not working for you. That helps me to shape the business to be a better entity.
Yeah, it's such good, incredible feedback for us to learn and tweak and grow. Debra, I have thoroughly enjoyed this chat. I've learned so much, just some awareness stuff that I hadn't thought about from the blind community perspective, but also just you're an amazing person and entrepreneur. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your journey and your magic with us. I know our listeners are going to walk away feeling totally inspired and ready to go maybe take some action. I'm so grateful for your time, for the impact that you are specifically making on the world.
Oh, thank you, Beverly, for having me. This has really been a joy. I've enjoyed our conversation immensely.
I just want to add to my listeners, I really hope that today's episode inspired you, lit a little fire in you, gave you some great ideas, but most of all, inspired you to not feel so alone. There's so many challenges as entrepreneurs that we face, that there's always a way to overcome them. Because here's the thing, your message matters, your work matters. The world needs to hear what you have to say. Marketing isn't just about visibility. It's not just about the videos. It's about impact. It's about connecting with the right people in a way that feels completely true to you. So keep showing up, keep sharing your brilliance, and keep making magic in the world. And hey, if you ever feel stuck, know that you don't have to do this alone. We're here to help you turn that spark into a wildfire. So until next time, keep sparking and igniting. Thank you so much for tuning into the Spark and Ignite Your Marketing podcast. I hope you found today's conversation or activation be something clear and actionable that you can take back to your very own business. If you found this helpful, I'd love it if you take a moment to share your thoughts in a review. Not only does this help us see what's working and what you'd like to hear more of, but it also helps other business owners just like you find the sparks that they need. And if you know someone who could use today's tips, why not share this episode with them? A little inspiration can go a long way, and together, we can help more people simplify their marketing and make their business shine.